31. The symbol of love, rise. Jackie's POV. Making that smiley-headed guy jealous was too much fun, so I deliberately refused to let her go. It was a scene worth remembering for a lifetime. Do you really think I would have let that moment slip away? Not a chance. I didn't care what was running through everyone else's minds. I focused solely on her. Her damp hair looked incredibly alluring, and I couldn't tear my eyes away. Even though my neck ached from holding my head up for so long, eventually I rested it back down and pulled her closer into my embrace. It was an incredible feeling. Having her in my arms made me feel whole, but I knew I couldn't keep her like this forever. She finally got up with her friend's help, and I followed suit. Though she hesitated to sit next to me, she didn't have a choice for long. I made sure of that. She tried to avoid looking at me, so I leaned in slightly, just enough to draw her attention. Annoying her was entertaining. I mean, the way she reacts when she's frustrated or angry is downright adorable. That fool thought he was smarter than me? Ha! Now who's winning, huh? Obviously you, my inner voice cheered proudly. I smirked to myself. Just then I felt something cold and wet on my left shoulder. I glanced down and noticed strands of her damp hair sticking to my neck, caught in the breeze from the window. I let my gaze roam over her. She was staring out at the road, lost in thought. Taking a deep breath, I caught the fresh scent of her shampoo. I wanted to see her face. I wanted more of her. So to get her attention, I suddenly said, "Your hair is still wet." She turned to me instantly, looking surprised.
Lavanya's POV. With Virat sir in the other bus, I was now trapped here with this insufferable man. I knew he wasn't entirely bad, but his behavior made it clear he was neither a gentleman nor particularly intelligent. "Your hair is still wet." The sudden comment pulled me out of my thoughts. I turned to him, confused. "Excuse me, are you talking to me?" I asked, pointing at myself. "Of course, love," he replied, his tone laced with a teasing seductiveness. His expression sent shivers down my spine, and I immediately felt goosebumps. His eyes kept flickering from my eyes to my hair, then to my lips. And just like that, my anger melted away. Instead, I was left feeling nervous, uncertain, overwhelmed. What does he do to me every single time? I quickly looked away. I didn't have enough time to use a hairdryer, I muttered, tucking the loose strands behind my ear, the same strands that had apparently been bothering him. "Sorry." "I don't mind," he said smoothly, "but I did mind about yesterday." I turned back to him, meeting his gaze. What was he talking about? "Yesterday?" I asked, still confused. "Never mind, it doesn't matter anymore," he replied, shifting his attention forward. Then, out of nowhere, he asked in his American accent, "By the way, who is Mumtaz?" "Mumtaz?" I repeated, surprised. He nodded. Well, she was." I started to answer but then stopped. "Why are you even talking to him? You're supposed to be angry with him, remember?" My inner voice scolded me. So, I decided to give him a smarter response. Why don't you just Google it? You'll get all the information you need." I shrugged casually. He narrowed his cold eyes at me. "Thank you so much for the advice, Miss Lavanya," he replied sarcastically. I quickly turned my head away to avoid his gaze. A few minutes passed in silence before his phone started ringing. He leaned slightly towards me to retrieve it from his right trouser pocket. Oh no! Our eyes met and my breath hitched. He was far too close. It lasted only a few seconds, but in that brief moment, I felt as if I had been transported to another universe. A universe that didn't exist in reality, yet somehow his eyes held the map to it. Lub-dub, 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 lub-dub. As soon as he sat back upright, I looked away, inhaling a deep, shaky breath. "Hey, James," he greeted the caller. Throughout his conversation, he kept glancing at me, each time with a different expression. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but judging by how often he looked my way, I had a strong suspicion the topic was me.
Jackie's POV? When my phone rang, I shifted slightly to retrieve it from my pocket. She was staring at me, her expression amused. Our faces were only inches apart, yet I couldn't feel her breath. She had stopped exhaling entirely. For a few seconds, I simply admired her flawless skin, her damp hair, until my gaze dropped to the screen. James. Hey, James, I answered. I tried video calling you, but it didn't connect. He complained. Yeah, I'm out. Traveling, actually. The reception here isn't great. What's up? I asked, stealing another glance at her. She was watching me from the corner of her eye. Traveling? So early? Where? He asked. Some trip. I'll tell you later. What's going on? I replied. Okay, the reports you asked for have been sent to your email. Also, the next hearing is scheduled for Thursday, so you better be here by next Wednesday, he informed me. Oh, I frowned, glancing at her again. She quickly looked away and swallowed hard. I'll remind you to book your flight, okay? He said. Yeah, thanks. So, a trip? He asked. Yep. To where? To see the Taj Mahal. Whoa, really? Yeah. With who? He asked, his curiosity evident. I bet he was smirking. The whole office, in a bus, I replied, staring up at the roof. Ah, that's so, high school, he teased. By the way, is she there too? He asked excitedly. Who? I feigned ignorance. Seriously? The girl, the only girl you're always talking about, he reminded me. I glanced at her with a small smile. Do I really talk about her all the time? You don't just talk about her. You think about her every second, and I'm the witness, my inner voice remarked. I don't talk. You're the one who keeps bringing it up, I corrected, sneaking another glance at her. She looked at me as if she was starting to piece together exactly what we were talking about. Oh no, I hope she didn't hear that. Okay. So tell me then, have you guys done it yet? James asked, his tone brimming with curiosity. His question left me momentarily confused. Done what? I furrowed my brows. You know, kissing, smooching, and the... James started listing and my eyes widened. Is he serious? Shut up, I snapped, suddenly feeling her gaze on me. Dazed, she quickly looked away when our eyes met. Oh, come on, just tell me, how was she? Was she good? James pressed on, his voice laced with amusement. I clenched my jaw, struggling to control my rising anger. I mean, next time I visit, maybe I could get a taste too, you know? The moment those words left his mouth, I responded in an icy tone. James, next time, choose your words very carefully when speaking to me like that, or you'll be fired. And consider yourself lucky you're not standing in front of me right now, because I swear you'd be dead. My grip on the phone tightened, my breath heavy with rage. Without waiting for a response, I hung up. How dare he talk about her like that? As I battled my fury, something soft brushed against my left hand. My eyes dropped to find her stole tangled around my arm. The wind had loosened her now slightly dried hair, making strands fly in every direction. One look at her calmed me instantly. Her face was tense, her eyes filled with uncertainty after overhearing my words. Slowly, she glanced down and noticed her stole draped over my arm. Her eyes widened in horror, as if she had committed some crime. What does she call it? Dupatta. She carefully pulled it away, our eyes locking for a brief moment. And then, James's ridiculous question echoed in my mind. This girl doesn't even let me look at her for too long. Won't allow me to touch her hand. And that idiot was talking about kissing and smooching. I chuckled at the absurdity of it all. She frowned, clearly puzzled. Whoa, what? She asked, blinking rapidly. Nothing. I shook my head, chuckling again. Then a memory resurfaced. The night I kissed her while she was lost in that wedding nightmare. I laughed once more. She didn't say another word, just kept glancing at me with strange frowns. 2 hours later, she took out her lunchbox and turned to her friend. Ruhi, do you want some? She offered. No, Yar, I'm good with my candy bars. Besides, the bus is stopping for breakfast in an hour. I'm desperate to eat at the dhaba, Ruhi replied excitedly. Lavanya smiled at her enthusiasm. Then, to my surprise, she pulled out another lunchbox and held it out to me. For me? For me? I asked, raising a brow. Yes, she nodded. I took the box, eyeing her curiously. Did you even sleep last night? When did you wake up? I mean, either you have more than 24 hours in a day, or you're secretly time traveling. She twitched her lips to one side in amusement. I exhaled and grinned at her. Thanks. I didn't understand. Why does she do these little things for me? Why, love? I asked. She looked up at me, chewing a bite from her lunchbox. Why do you always prepare an extra lunchbox, especially for me? I asked frankly. She choked on her food, coughing violently. Shit! Hey, are you okay? I asked, alarmed. Grabbing the water bottle she had placed between us, I handed it to her. She quickly drank, coughing several times before finally settling down. Then she turned to me with wide eyes, looking like she had just been caught red-handed.
Lavanya's POV. Why love? He suddenly asked, catching me off guard. I frowned at him, taking another bite of my sandwich. Why do you always prepare an extra lunchbox, especially for me? He demanded. The food in my mouth suddenly felt stuck in my throat, and I coughed violently, struggling to either swallow or spit it out. Hey, are you okay? He asked, quickly handing me a bottle of water. I eagerly took a sip, then hesitantly shifted my eyes to his. He still looked concerned. What should I tell him now? I shook my head, searching for an answer, when he spoke again in an anxious tone. You're not okay? That's when I realized he was asking about my health, not the question that had just thrown me off balance. I nodded rapidly. No, sir, I'm totally fine, thank you. He sighed in relief, but my mind was still caught between his question and a reasonable answer. Do I even know the answer to his question? In fact, I'd often wondered the same thing. Why do I do this for him every day? Why? Just then, the bus came to a stop, distracting him as the driver announced a break at the dhaba. One by one, everyone climbed down to get their breakfast. Since I still hadn't finished mine, I resumed taking small bites. He was eating too, and soon we were the only ones left on the bus. It made me feel slightly uncomfortable, but I knew I was safe. This time, I didn't panic. How romantic, he sighed, sitting inside a bus on the highway, eating an Indian sandwich with a lovely Indian girl whose hair is heavenly sexy. I shot him a glare, utterly disgusted. His flirting level is too cheap. He smirked at me, and I shook my head in disbelief. What? He asked. Will you ever stop flirting? Can't you at least try to behave a little civilized? I pleaded. Well, blame yourself, love, he teased, and I rolled my eyes, looking out of the window, only to spot Virat sir standing near a tea stall, sipping tea. This is the perfect time to talk to him, my conscience encouraged me. Excuse me, sir, I need to go out, I said to Mr. Dawson. Whenever and wherever you want, I'm always ready, he replied, taking a deep breath and smoking. I frowned, confused. What? His dreamy gaze lingered on me, shifting between my eyes and lips before returning to my eyes. And then it hit me. Oh, uncivilized American monster. This man is never going to change. I meant, will you please shift and give me some space so I can get out? I clarified, making my words unmistakably clear this time. But he simply shook his head with a grin. My jaw dropped. Off. I really needed to talk to Virat sir, but how could I get past him? Oh yes, that will definitely work. I really need to go to the washroom, sir, I said, giving him my most pleading look. His smile vanished instantly as he looked away. Oh, he paused. Sure, okay. He shifted aside, finally letting me pass. Yes, that trick always works. I flashed him a triumphant smile before hurrying towards the exit. As I walked away, I heard him muttering behind me, "May I join you too, love?" Ignoring him, I rushed out of the bus and ran towards Virat sir, who was now paying the tea stall owner. I knew he had seen me approaching, but just as I reached him, he turned his gaze away. "Oh God, he is so angry." "Sir," I called out as soon as I reached him, but he turned away to leave. Quickly stepping in front of him, I blocked his path. "Please, hear me out just once. Whatever you decide after that, I will accept it," I pleaded, hoping he would give me a chance to explain. Taking a deep breath, he finally said, "Okay, go on." I immediately launched into my explanation. "It was a misunderstanding, sir. I know that from where you stood, it must have looked inappropriate. But I swear, it wasn't what you think. I was already seated, and when he couldn't find a place, he sat beside me. I told him the seat was reserved for you, but he argued, and we ended up bickering like schoolchildren. In the middle of that, I accidentally pushed him, and he fell. I grabbed his arm to help him up, to stop him from falling completely. But just then, the bus started moving. I lost my balance too, and I fell on him." I sighed. "It's awkward to explain, I know. I couldn't get up immediately because there was no space left, and that's the exact moment you saw us. I tried to get up and stop you, but I couldn't even stand. Rui had to help me, but by then, you were already gone." I finished my half-true story and waited anxiously. He remained silent for a few moments, his face unreadable. The tension built inside me until finally he exhaled heavily and gave a slow nod. Relief washed over me, and a wide smile spread across my lips. "I'm really sorry," I said with a grin. To my surprise, he chuckled. "Oh, back to romance?" Ruhi's teasing voice came from beside me as she draped her arm around my neck. I rolled my eyes while Virat sir blushed. "I swear I'm going to kill you too. And don't blame me for it, because neither of you tells me anything these days. And don't forget, I was the reason you two even got together in the first place." She huffed dramatically. "I am your wingman, woman, I mean," she declared proudly. The three of us burst into laughter. "You are funny, Miss Ruhi," Virat sir remarked. "And impossible," I added, widening my eyes in mock exasperation. "That sums it all up. I am the best," she announced with a smug shrug, making us laugh again.
Jackie's POV. I was burning with jealousy, my anger flaring as I watched them through the window. Their loud laughter grated on my nerves as I saw her standing there, chatting and laughing with her friend and that idiot. Why does she always end up near him every chance she gets? Once breakfast was over, everyone returned to their seats, including Lavanya. There was a bright smile on her face, too bright for my liking. She approached and looked directly into my eyes, silently asking me to move so she could get to her seat. I huffed but shifted aside, letting her through. It wasn't that I didn't enjoy seeing her smile. I did. But the fact that her happiness had nothing to do with me, that bothered me. A lot. The driver started the engine, and we were back on the road. After a few moments of silence, she finally spoke. "Didn't you like the breakfast?" she asked. "No, I loved it, thank you," I replied flatly, without looking at her or changing my expression. "Then what's wrong? Why are you so serious? Are you okay?" Her voice held genuine concern. "Why do you care?" I shot back, my tone sharper than intended. She blinked, taken aback. No, I just thought some people feel sick on buses, so I asked. "You just look lost," she explained hesitantly. "Oh, thanks for noticing, Miss Lavanya," I retorted sarcastically. I could see her staring at me, her mouth slightly open. But I gave no reaction. Slowly, she turned her head forward. "I'm leaving," I suddenly announced. I wasn't sure why I said it, but I was curious to see how she would react to the news. She instantly turned to me with a frown. What? Where? We haven't reached the Taj Mahal yet. I looked at her and clarified, I meant I'm leaving India. Her frown shifted into pure shock, her eyes widening. Well, why? She asked hurriedly. Because I miss San Francisco, my mom, my friends. I lied. She didn't respond for a while. Instead, she kept blinking, her gaze darting everywhere except at me. Well, when? She finally whispered. Next Wednesday. She gasped. Why so soon? Why, will you miss me? I asked, looking directly into her eyes. No. She quickly looked away and I narrowed my eyes. I mean, yes, we will all miss you, sir. Everyone in the office will miss their boss. I rolled my eyes, frustrated by how she kept hiding her feelings. You're a liar, Miss Lavanya, I said with a deep sigh. A big liar, but unfortunately a terrible one. She met my gaze, her eyes filled with guilt, as if she had been caught committing a crime. I didn't look away. Our eyes locked, an intense stare holding us in place, as though we were trapped in some hypnotic spell. A sudden honk from the bus made us jump, snapping us out of the moment. After 4 long hours on the road, we finally caught sight of a small Taj Mahal in the distance, standing at the riverbank. The view was blurred by the rainy season, yet everyone eagerly pressed against their windows, admiring it. It was beautiful, but to me it wasn't particularly impressive. What's so special about that? It's just a monument, I remarked. Lavanya gasped, turning to me in disbelief. What? I shrugged at her reaction. You were all so excited to see this? I mean, what's so wonderful about it? It's the symbol of love, she replied, her voice thick with emotion. I raised a brow at her response, glancing between her and the monument. A symbol of love?